Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to go back into Bruva Alfabusa exposes everyone to things they were not expecting to see. Or in this case, zombie tea, which is literally what the last part of this video ended on. Yeah. People drank it. A lot. And we're just going to go back and watch more. I've been told, thank God, there was more to the horror story, and we're moving on to a new one with, oh, it all got better. They just had to drink dead people. I'm still on that. It's been a week. It's still kind of terrifying to me. Yeah. So we're going to get right into the next part of Kitten and Big D's primer on the supernatural and folklore. Hunter the Parroting Audiolog. As far as I know, the first one, and to the best of my knowledge, based on comments below, taking place right between episodes 1 and 2. So before they decide to do the really smart thing of feeding a vampire other vampires. Yeah. I'm sure that won't have any negative consequences at all. You guys know the deal? Link below, original video. Hit it up. And we're done. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's get started. Oh yeah, it does say snowflakes. I'm going to pretend it's a joke and not something that's actually in Britain.
Fighting ceased after that.
Really? Just from that?
Oh?
Yeah. But the very pump was actually removed some years after that.
What?
And the villagers once again reported awful groaning deep into the night. By all accounts, the ghost had returned.
Did he put more body parts in there?
Until at last the pump was reinstalled.
Huh?
That doesn't make much sense.
Yeah?
Ghosts in general don't make much sense.
I mean, I guess it could be a fixation, but...
They make perfect sense!
How?
It's just a sense we don't yet grasp.
Okay,
You
I guess that
think
makes
so?
sense.
My boy, all things are ordered and explicable. Even chaos hearkens to the beat of unseen principles.
Two things. One, I find it so weird that they're just saying the word chaos and not going chaos. I know, different setting. But it's Bruva Alfabusa, man. There's that second in my mind. It's like, wait, why is the Emperor talking about chaos openly? Nope. Different character. This is Big D, who is definitely not the Emperor's precursor, no matter how much I literally have that as my headcanon. Still love the horse mug. I kind of want that. It would be fun. But just, gah! It just hits you, man.
There is no true randomness, merely spontaneous whimsy. Flowers wilt, waters flow, aortic valves implode, vampires suck, but
That's
never for
interesting.
no reason.
That's a surprising outlook, sir. I always thought you looked at the supernatural world with more, well, wonder, I guess?
Boy,
Really?
I ought to smack you, but I love you, so instead I flip.
Oh god, you cracked my glasses.
Order and
Oh,
wonder
God,
go
he cracked
hand
his
in
glasses real
hand.
quick.
Whether decoding chaos or indulging in its
surprising that he
whimsy,
didn't
the
kill him.
world around us is a ceaseless den of darkness and delight.
Oh.
Just as there is joy in understanding a facet of it, there is equal joy in knowing there is more to discover. The quest goes ever on, Sancho.
He's quoting Sancho Panza. I guess vampires are his windmill that he tilts against and turned out to be real. For anyone wondering, that would be the Man of La Mancha. Wow, that's the play. Huh. Don Quixote. Old book. I tried to read it. It's actually not bad. I just prefer fantasy. Yeah. Also, I was 12 at the time. Yeah, there was 2 books up there, and Lord of the Rings was right next to it. Oddly enough, Lord of the Rings was harder to read. Because I kept coming to that goddamn scene where Tolkien starts talking about high-speed trains from a squirrel's perspective. Book 1, man. It had some weird points. I don't know why that was allowed to stay in there. Also, that was high-speed trains for Tolkien's era, so I'm assuming 50 miles an hour, maybe traveling between London and anywhere else that's not anywhere actually important. Yeah, I probably just pissed a lot of people off there. But I'm an American, so I feel obligated to say something like that. Yee. Also, because I have no idea where anything is, including where London is. I assume it's south. I could be wrong.
And whether windmill or giant, my lance strikes forward.
Oh, God.
Of course, Quixote.
Yeah!
Now then, this torso.
Oh, he just popped.
He seems like an odd chap. Let's evaluate his authenticity.
Oh?
Most spirits tend to be tied to objects, ones that linger from their past lives. I
Like
believe
legs?
the common vernacular is fetters,
Well, perhaps the well itself was a fetter.
Could it be something like that?
Perhaps. You see, to destroy a fetter often destabilizes a ghost, turns them hostile.
Oh.
Like Marcus and his silly game station.
He was really torn up after you crushed it with a hammer.
It defied my will and was...
God damn. One. This is the era when the PlayStations and the Xboxes and the GameCubes were just amazing, and every game on them was awesome. But unlike now, getting a new one isn't a car payment. Which isn't true. My car payment is cheaper. It would be a half-year payment for the car, dear God. But still, I love that they actually just randomly threw that in there. Also, goddamn, he's crazy as hell.
Should share a fairer interest with me.
Look,
Oh, he tried to bring-
Party is unfair for everyone.
It
man.
should be the least unfair for me!
Okay, one, it's not unfair for everyone. It's just unfair for the person who loses. Two, I take back any criticism I might have put up on Big D for this. That is a very justified reaction, and I may or may not have considered doing that before. Which definitely didn't happen. And I will never say otherwise under penalty of anyone finding out.
It can be if you play
Everyone cheated but Big D. Next time, Big D cheat.
Casual.
Yeah, something more casual.
Oh, yeah, he's the king of games.
Like diplomacy, or the game of Ur. In either case, it's why so many ghosts act cagey when you traipse into their homes.
No, let's go back. I want to hear that again. What?
Yeah, something more casual. Like diplomacy, or the game of Ur.
See, I don't actually know what the game of Ur is, so I'm going to quickly look that up on a separate... Oh, ooh. We just do the thing with a new window. There we go. Game of Ur. The Royal Game is a two-player strategy race board game, table of fantasy. Ancient Mesopotamia. Huh. I think I actually remember seeing this in the Fate Grand Order anime for Babylonia. I think they actually drew it in there. So, I was assuming Big D was older, maybe late Middle Ages, early Middle Ages, maybe around the 0 BC age, making him actually Jesus, because sure, why not? If he's talking about casual games like Game of Ur, as something he would bring up, he's either Turkish, which is one of the things people were bringing up, because maybe that's a big thing there. I don't actually know. Or he's the kind of guy who believes a game from his childhood is easy. Like most people who think Monopoly's easy because they only remember playing it as a kid. John, it wasn't my fault that you landed on my everything every time. And I definitely didn't cheat by putting down a few houses when you weren't there and you were in the bathroom. That definitely didn't happen. Also, as the banker, I was allowed to do that. I stand by that house rule that I made up as soon as you caught me. So yeah, he is, Big D is a lot older than I expected, because that's a reference that really dates him more than anything else. Kind of crazy that he's the rebel then, and the punk, and really into overthrowing just systems of control, since he's from a time period where those, because he literally watched them all come about. He's either Gilgamesh or possibly Enkidu, because those are the only two people I actually know from Mesopotamian history.
In either case, it's why so many ghosts act cagey when you traipse into their homes.
Oh,
You're
these are
essentially
destabilizing
defiling their remaining memories of mortal life.
Oh.
It's typically unwise to disturb them. And even worse when those places are destroyed.
They become unmoored and undem.
And since the well is gone now...
Yes, you'd expect sightings to soar.
So it's not the well, then.
It is also thought geists can find some form of peace
attached to
in
the
these fetters.
pump?
Perhaps our sailor friend was a native of the village. He may have yearned for clean water in his dying moments at sea, or as a youth in Happisburg, or some such. Happisburg, Hapesburg, whatever your evil devil village is called. It's pure conjecture, but mayhaps in bringing it to his village, he made peace with his death, before he went to hell.
Which explains why he only came back after the pump was removed.
Right on the money. Though, of
So it's the
course, just
concept
as
of
likely
clean
that
water
this
that he was attached
ghost
to.
was a Happisburg hoax to get the government to replace an old pump.
Entirely possible.
Or perhaps a story shared by bandits and criminals to keep roads clear at night.
Okay, I was going to say that Big D acknowledging that it's either two possibilities. One, it's just a hoax to get the government to actually do shit. Or two, a ghost doesn't have to be tethered to a physical item, but a concept of clean water running in a place because the water would move. So it wouldn't be the water itself, it's just the idea of clean water from it that actually would be what would be interesting. Also implying that if people ever moved away from the well and no one was drawing clean water from it, it would also destabilize the ghost. Interesting that concepts can have an attached one. Like, could you have a ghost attached to the concept of joy? I don't know. Maybe it would become an asshole if it wasn't made happy, and then you'd have to tell jokes to it. If my DM is watching this, expect that I'm going to message you for a fun little random encounter later. Completely unrelated, yeah. Not saying that would be funny as hell, but I would love the shit out of that. I only tell bad jokes. I would make us lose so hard. But more importantly, this. Everything Kitten is saying. Bandits wanting to keep the roads clear at night. On the one hand, I guess the assumption is, well, if the roads are clear, no one will see us. On the other hand, bandits at night would like to have people they could probably rob. I'm assuming on the road is easier than in the house. In the house, you know where the shotgun is. And I'm assuming it's a lot easier to take people down outside in the dark when there's other people moving around and no one knows who's going on because it's dark out. Maybe English roads are just significantly well lit. I feel like I just made a joke, and I honestly don't know why. Yeah.
In the book I read, they suggested the chap was a smuggler of some
Oh,
such.
never mind.
Likely
Not a bandit, a
murdered in
smuggler. That makes more
quarrel
sense.
with his own coal.
Not his own
what?
corn will get him. You know, it's always the quarrel you don't see that gets you.
The what? Reluctant yet uncontrolled laugh? His own crawl. What? Is this a language pun that I'm not aware of? Huh. Actually, didn't know there was any of those. Must be a British thing.
That was a funny joke. I taught it to Marcus.
That was a joke?
Right, sorry. Likely
I feel like I'm
murdered in
missing
a
context.
quarrel with his own comrade.
Ah, who can say? Truths like these are hidden for a reason. For mankind to bring them hissing.
Quarrel with comrades? I'm assuming it's a language pun on quarrel and comrades having similar sounds at the beginning, but one's a Q and one's a C. But I don't know. This has to be a British joke. This has to be a British joke I'm not aware of. If someone knows, please let me know. I'm actually curious. And it may or may not bug me a little.
Screaming into the light for all to behold.
Right inspiring, sir. Speaking of, could I ask how you know any of this?
I once entered an abandoned hotel in L.A. A ghost threw a phone at me. I have studied their ways ever since. Why not, damn you!
Just going to throw it out there. Depending on when he went to LA, and I'm assuming it's probably recently because they had a phone, a ghost is probably the safest option you can run into there. Could be worse, though. Could have been Miami. They would have given him all the DMT he wanted. And that would be bad for everyone else.
Do not mock me, Philistines! I'll kill you, necromancer! I'll
he's having another crazy
all of
fit.
you! Ah! I'll break it down!
Well, damn. Also, this is one of the things that people have mentioned. Big D, and this is something I don't know anything firsthand about because I don't know anything about the lore of Hunter the Reckoning, Hunter the Vigil, or any of the other associated properties that make up White Wolf's control of this entire setting. But a lot of people have mentioned that he might be a legitimate hunter as opposed to what I've been told is the Vigil ones, which are just crazy guys who don't know what they're doing, but we got guns and we can fuck shit up, which is probably exactly what everyone else is. Big D might be the getting literal messages from Cthulhu god. it was more or less explained to me that way. I don't actually know, but it did sound a lot like Cthulhu and a lot like Elden Ring, actually, now that I think about it. I'm not saying I'm addicted, but everything is starting to look like Elden Ring. Moving on, not just talking about that, because I will never stop that tangent. But more importantly, people mention that one of the ways to understand his psychosis is that he's actually quite sane, but he has moments that trigger thought processes that go crazy. Talking about the supernatural and specific events can easily do it. And he's been getting moments of crazy, but also very sober and philosophical whenever he's going between those two extremes talking about it. The only reason I'm even bringing this up, because I didn't know enough about it before, is because he was going on that entire little, I guess, exposition dump, specifically about how just because it looks crazy doesn't mean there's not order to it. There's a logic that you don't understand. That is one of those lines that I'm just thinking, okay, you don't include this line if you don't know what you're doing. Because most people who are just doing dialogue, if I had no faith in the writer, if I had no faith in the script, I would think it's just there to fill space. I have faith in everything Bruva, Alfabusa, Speaker D, and anyone who had any involvement with this could do when it comes to writing. TTS was literally an exposition dump doing everything they tell you not to do, to tell and not show, and then doing that somehow amazingly to the point where it was brilliant. And then they actually started showing as well, and it just was like, oh my God, I love this. Here, though, all of this crazy factor means that it's highlighting what we should pay attention to. I want to dismiss a ghost in LA through a phone at me. And it's probably a funny line, but also it's showing what he can talk about and then just be whoop, crazy. But I don't know which side it's on because I don't understand how that process works for him. Is the crazy set off because it's real or because it's not? Because he didn't go crazy when talking about the well ghost. He had moments. Although when it comes to Mario Party, that is completely justified and a completely sane and rational response to it. Just putting it out there. It is. Come on, don't deny it. You know it. But more importantly, we can see the triggers that come up in conversations when certain things remind him of thought processes he's probably had. And we could see that crazy. Also because I'm assuming he's not actually high as fuck right now. That'll probably come later. Although I could also be very wrong about that. He could be literally high all the time for all I know. But because he mentioned that, I don't know which side it falls on. So it's literally what he said. There's a logic. We can see that there's probably a logic governing his actions and when he's being crazy and when he's being sane. But we don't have the context yet to see and understand what that logic is. So from our perspective, he looks like a crazy madman. But we can kind of infer that there's more to it than that. I love this because it's showing exactly what they just talked about as a joke, hiding the fact that it's probably very much a real thing and it's going to become a plot point later. I mostly say that because TTS previously was very good about working in random jokes as plot points. Like the entire Inquisition becoming a major plot point and how they reference the God Emperor and what really established lore in universe as opposed to just making fun of the original property. So basically what I'm saying is, this is cool. I like this. This is good writing. Yeah, I mean, already got my like, but if I could leave a second like, I would do it right now.
Do you want to hear more Norfolk urban legends?
Yee.
Of course.
Cool. Well, let's see. There's loads to cover.
Really?
Black Shuck, the Norfolk Priest Holes, the Witch of East Summerston.
Priest holes. I'm sorry. The fuck? Yes. Black Shog, Witch of the East Summerston. Priest holes. Who? I just. Oh. I'm Catholic. As soon as someone makes a joke about priest, I'm like, it's a good thing. There's nothing bad that could possibly happen about this. I don't think that's a tale, and nothing that this involves. I just. There's very limited things I can say right now that are YouTube appropriate and are also completely fucking true. Note that wasn't me swearing. That was an unfortunate description of reality. Maybe we'll be lucky, and it's just some random dumb British village name that was also probably named it for a very explicit reason that's definitely never had any real-life equivalent to why it was named that way. We're just going to... I just want to drop this entire line of thought. Oh, God.
Summerston.
Ooh, a spookoy witch!
Sure, we'll
Yeah, let's go with that one. It's less fucked up, probably.
Long ago, in the 15th century, a mysterious peg-legged woman was accused by the local clergy of witchcraft. While this was naturally a barbarous practice...
That shit was crazy!
What?
While we know those accused of witchcraft were innocent, the Witch of East Summerston...
Okay. Going to be a little honest there. I really did expect the big D to jump in. There's like, no, they're not.
For reasons
unless you just like the craziness aspect of it.
Perhaps not. While proof of her deeds have been lost to the ages, stories abound of her sorcerous ways. And for this, she was seized and buried alive beneath St. Mary's Church in the little village of East Summerton.
Oh,
However,
live burial.
Unfortunately for the church, this would prove to be their last
Because she actually
mistake,
was a witch?
for a witch's ire is rarely
Oh,
spared.
she actually was a witch.
When the ground was cleared for her burial, she only laughed as the dirt covered her shackled body. Laughed and laughed as she was entombed within the soil. She could be heard no more. The priests and congregated hunters celebrated their victory.
Oh, there were hunters there as
until
well.
her peg leg was seen, jutting out of the ground.
What?
First a mere shaft of wood, then a sprouting log, and then a great and mighty oak tree, which shattered the church and turned it to ruins. The husk of her victory can still be seen today.
Oh, that's actually a really cool story. And I love the symbolism here because normally anything about witches goes from, yeah, it's going to be dark and grimy, but then in the background you realize they did this to people and it was always just assholes being assholes. Here, though, I like this story because, one, I've been told a lot of these are actually real stories. It actually has an overtone I don't think I've ever heard in a witch story. Showing a victory through life, because a growing tree is a very big symbol of, well, life. Usually shelter, shade. It's a symbol that is usually associated with good things. So for her peg leg to sprout and grow, that's a symbol I was not expecting on the witch's side. Usually it's something else. Very interesting story just for that reason alone.
And it's still thought, should you be foolish enough, that you might wake her yet with the utterance of her true name.
Does anyone know it?
Got him!
I'm going with Big D on this one. Also, can we just go back a second to see his face? Like, just... He's probably going to go there and try and wake her up just to give her a high five and go, yeah, you got him, bitch. You did the shit. Yeah. Go back to sleep. Also, not the most fucked up bit of art for a human face that even Big D has put up, but it's not the crazy face. He's done a lot weirder ones. It's not the eyes going in different directions that the weird one. It's the fact that the pupils are whited out that just kind of makes it weirder than normal. Most of the time, that's not what they do. Or if it is, they miss it because the teeth usually were just like, yeah. Yeah, cool little effect there.
Got him!
Yeah, we know which side he's on.
She got him!
I suppose she did.
Yeah.
Ah, classic!
Are you going to expand on that?
Nope, or so I think the story is fake.
Definitely.
Well, sir, I've taken you for many things, but never a skeptic.
Come on, it doesn't make any sense! I mean, why would the Christians bury this woman in the middle of their church? What, do they just dig up the floors in the middle of Mass, slap her in?
I mean, burial inside the church is actually a thing that happens. I don't think usually for witches, but there are a lot of churches with catacombs under them, or literally they tore up the floorboards, put a burial underneath it for priests or other members. It's usually not a punishment, though. But that actually has happened. I've watched a lot of travel shows, and sometimes there are exhibits because they've gone in and put glass over the bodies so you can see them. That's not a joke. That's not a telltale. They just do that as a tourist attraction. My wife might love it. I would stay the fuck away. But I'm also a coward. Still like the story, though, and I think Big T's take on is right.
The story might not be entirely literal. They could have just buried her in the lower levels.
Yeah, catacombs underneath
I
are
mean,
also a
the
thing.
oak is there, that's a fact at least.
We're even bigger than.
I still disagree.
Why?
Mainly because it contradicts me.
What?
At least you're honest.
Well, I will say, your fake story does have all the markings of a witch's dastardly death ex.
Assuming it isn't fake, of course.
Of course.
I admit I don't know
Seems
much about
very
death
tame for a
hexes or
death hex,
witches
though.
and the like.
I explain. Wizards and stuff, yeah?
Okay, so one, he knows wizard stuff, too. What was... Okay, yeah, I guess his pupils are whited out a lot of the time now that I notice it. Huh. Were they always whited out? I think they were. And this is probably the most serious face I've seen him have ever. It's actually kind of creepy in its own right. I think his eyes were always
Wizards
whited
and
out.
stuff, yeah?
Is he
Yeah.
blind?
They can die if you shoot them.
Yep.
Cool.
This is always a bad idea. Please watch out. Alert, alert, alert,
Point
alert.
taken! Point taken!
The reason for this is the death curse. It's this thing
They
where...
curse you in death?
Correct. Usually to death. It doesn't happen every time you smite a witch or wizard.
And that does tell me what I need to know. The specific phrasing of this, he's talking about them as a group separate from himself, and that does ally some of the theories people put up. I'm definitely going more to Hunter the Reckoning, where he's actually someone getting a Cthulhu-esque guidance and driving him insane. Because people also speculate that he might be a mage, and here, he's probably not, because he's lumping them in as someone he would smite. That is very specific phrasing that very much says, probably not a group I belong to. It just because smiting is something you would do as more of a paladin class or someone who is maybe, I don't know, a hunter. The phrasing does kind of line up more with that. Now, I could be very wrong. It could be an in term for a universe that I'm just not aware of. But because of how this is structured, though, it does kind of make me feel that the theories of him being a mage are less than accurate, or he's moved so far beyond it, he doesn't consider himself one at this point. Could either be one of those. I don't know.
But often enough that it's very dangerous to attempt.
This is similar to what they
Hell.
did in
So you
Dresden
mean to
Files.
say if
Interesting.
there's an evil wizard running around, we can't do anything about it?
Knock him
Of
out?
course you can. Wizards are nerds. You can easily punch.
Oh, good.
But to be safe, make sure you aren't seen.
Yee.
Or heard.
Stealth punch.
Or known to them at all before killing them instantly, or else your brain will be turned into a cornered corb, and this is a fact.
Oh, well, as scary as killing one is, at least
So,
they're not
guns
so
at long
hard
range, got it.
Otherwise,
Oh, actually, they can warp reality with their wheels and brains.
what?
Ah, yeah, near infinite power to alter creation.
Wait, what? This is something I'm just kind of more surprised of because I'm very new to anything to do with Hunter or Werewolf or Vampire the Masquerade, anything to do with these properties and their connected universes. Or if the universes are connected, basically the old world of darkness. Because I'm pretty sure it is old world and not new world that they're in right now. How powerful do you get? Because near infinite power to alter creation, it sounds near infinite. That's, we've seen the low end, which is the first episode, where it's essentially first levels in a campaign if you're starting it as a game. How high does that get up on the higher end? Because near infinite power alter creation is a very big step. That's not just high level spells. Spells are what you would classify your inferior meddlings to try and resemble what I'm just doing with my own free time. It's that level, and that's a lot higher. Please, someone tell me. I'm actually very curious about this.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, and I thought Kevin was bad.
The great and mighty Kevin was formidable.
Oh, he's actually
But
respecting him.
indeed, were he a true magi, I doubt could have survived your encounter.
Our encounter? What about you?
Oh, he was.
Oh, I'd have been fine.
I admire your optimism, but
Okay, one, I have no doubt that he's being completely honest here, but more importantly, the way he delivered that line, oh, I would be fine. He wasn't acting crazy there. He wasn't going on one of his phases. It was an offhand comment said with the absolute certainty you can only get when you're stating something's very simple, like stubbing my toe is a bitch, but I don't think it's going to kill me, or paper cuts are bad and I would like to avoid them. It's rather unpleasant. It's just kind of a fact you deal with, but it's just, I don't like it. Yeah. It's like, I could do this. Why the fuck did I just do that? That actually hurt. I'm not going to die, but it's annoying. And I'm also literally questioning why I didn't just do it as a joke and actually flick myself. That actually hurt. Ow. I'm very easily pained. That is very unpleasant. Why did I do that? I regret everything about this metaphor, but still. Does show that he is much stronger than everyone else. I wonder if he had a hard time just because he was so high on DMT or because he was getting a kick out of it. It's probably his kink. This is probably literally his fun time, isn't it? Yeah.
I remember you barely surviving, Kevin.
Smurfing.
Yeah, I think your brain might be wrong.
You were also
How
very
would it be
high.
any different if Kevin were more powerful?
Really, son-in-law? Do you honestly think your old man would dive headlong into the cave without a few tricks up his sleeve?
I mean, there was significant usage of substances. Yes. Yes, I very much think he would have gone in there without a few tricks up his sleeve because he forgot he doesn't have sleeves anymore. Or they were rolled up to the point where it didn't matter. But you definitely can't say that.
You want the
Kitten.
honest
You
answer?
can't.
No! Now be a good boy and add more garlic powder.
Sure thing, Sadie.
Also, why is he calling him Sir D? Oh, it's probably the same reason I call my father-in-law Sir. It just feels wrong not to know anything about it. Makes sense. Snail flakes. Does that say Garfield? So, full honesty, I was not actually expecting to get this much information about Big D just in this bit right here. Because, goddamn, that actually was a good bit of information. We saw what he considered an easy game to establish what time frame he's from. We saw his own estimation of his power, how survivable he is, the fact that he is moderately insane. He doesn't quite consider himself a mage, but he's aware of what they do to a great extent to know that at the higher levels, fuck no. He will be fine. You guys are fucked. And more importantly, we're getting a lot of his entire personality in a way that the earlier episodes couldn't do because he was very much comedic effect. And now he's still comedic, but we can see a lot more of what is going on in his mind, how he thinks about things, the way his psychosis is triggered by certain aspects of what they're talking about. There are so many clues to who he is, what he is, when he's from, where he can do things, what he's done at them. It's just little breadcrumbs in every goddamn scene. And I love this. Also, that last story was pretty good. And we're just going to ignore the entire Norfolk priest hole. It's one of those things where I'm pretty sure it's not what I'm thinking. But, and this is a very big but, I'm not sure. And I don't want confirmation to say that I'm right. And there's a non-zero chance that would be the case, so I'm not going to look it up. Yeah. I'm just going to repress all of that. That's probably the safe choice. Yeah, that's definitely the safe choice. So all the same, you guys know the deal. Link below, original video, hit it up. And when you're done, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. And if anyone knows how crazy things get in World of Darkness, let me know because I really want to know. I've got a good idea what things are going on now at the low level, but how crazy does it get? How crazy is an upper level vampire? How crazy is an upper level mage? What the hell does the upper end of the scale look like? I don't know. And sorry, I'm at the point right now where I'm just getting into a new franchise and everything is bright and crazy and unknown. I don't know where to start looking and it's just like information overload and I love it. So if you can answer that question, just thank you in advance. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.